Hi there, welcome to From People Pleasing to Clear Healthy Boundaries in 6 weeks. This is week 1, and we're going to be looking this week at people pleasing. What is people pleasing? Now, a little bit about me. My name is Alison Reiner, and I am a Loved Again coach. I work with women who are in unhappy relationships and who believe that taking a journey inwards, finding out, creating a relationship with themselves, finding out who they are at their core, how they want to show up in the world, how you want to, present yourself, live your life, and and interact with other people is going to be transformational in your relationships. And when you start that journey, very often one of the first things we come up against is, I have no boundaries, I have no boundaries, I have no boundaries. I don't know how to say no to people. I don't know how to stand in my power. I don't know how to keep a balanced relationship. I'm very good at giving, but I can't receive. I'm very good at giving, but I can't ask. My relationships are all out of balance, and I have no idea what to do about it. I have no idea if there's anything I can do about it. And that's the first place. Yes, there is so much we can do about it, but first of all we need to identify what is the problem. Not just in terms of what people pleasing is for you, but also what is it costing you? What's it costing you in your relationship with yourself? What's it costing you in terms of your other relationships? Are there specific times, people, or interactions that cause you to not be able to stand in your power and say no, or to feel so uncomfortable when you do so that you end up backtracking anyway and saying yes? Now, I am a chronic people pleaser. I've worked very, very hard indeed to understand the mechanisms, and I know it's entirely possible. It takes a little bit of time, it takes a little bit of effort, it takes a little bit of trying something different. But the very first thing it takes is identifying with the idea of being a people pleaser, being codependent on other people. Now, what does that mean? That means that I am looking outside of myself for some sort of validation. I'm looking to you, or to my husband, or to my boss, or even to the mums at school, my colleagues at work. Wherever I'm looking to them to validate me as a person, to give me that sense that I am enough. I've lost the ability to look inside and do that for myself. Maybe I never had it in the first place. Maybe it was, very much, my own personal story is it was taken away from me very early on. I was given a set of rules to live by, and those rules were be quiet, say nothing, ask for nothing, and always be willing to help other people. And I did that. But as a result, I lost who I was, and I lost the ability to connect with me. I had to learn to redo that, and you will do too. So you signed up for this course because you have identified that there is an issue in terms of putting yourself and your needs first. And how are we actually going to identify what that is? So there are various things that happen when we're in this place, when we cannot say no to other people. And I just want to. So for me, one of the big things that happened is I say yes to everything. I don't have the pleasure of saying yes to the things that I really truly want. I say yes to everything. And then I'm resentful at other people. I seethe silently because somebody yet again made me do something I didn't want to do. I start to get angry at myself. Sometimes from a distance I get angry at them. If I actually go ahead with the task that I've agreed to do, then I go about it generally with bad grace, or if not bad grace, with less grace than I would normally do. I then start to create stories in my head about people, about the world, about my place in the world. Nobody appreciates me, nobody respects me, everybody always takes from me, nobody ever gives. The fact that I cannot ask for help, and actually I struggle to accept from other people, and that when I started my journey, I couldn't accept even a compliment. A compliment for me was just painful. I caused such a fuss. Oh, you look lovely. Do I? Oh no, look at my hair. Oh no, have you seen my stomach? God, this dress, God no, this is so cheap, I bought it in this. I couldn't just say, yes, thank you. I couldn't do it. I had to teach myself all these little skills, tricks, whatever, to make myself feel a lot more comfortable. And that was the beginning of a path of being able to, if not ask for help, at least accept it when it was offered. The other thing that I would ask you to look at, and there is a worksheet that goes with this, but the other thing I would ask you to look at is when you say yes to somebody else, what is it costing you? And where are you on that list? You know, I'm very much about service. I'm very much about helping other people. I'm very much about giving of myself to you, because when I do that, I feel good. When I do that, I get something out of it. You know, it's very, maybe it's selfish. When when I'm helping you, I feel good about myself. Only when I ensure that I have covered all my needs first, that I am not trying to pour from an empty cup. So I can give to you once I'm replenished, once I'm full. And when I'm doing that, you're getting the best from me. So when I'm giving you my time, when I'm really, coming from a place of connection and strong boundaries, which we'll get onto in the next sections. But when I'm coming from that place of being very boundaried, setting myself good, clear standards to live by, and these standards and these boundaries aren't to keep you at bay, they're to keep me safe from, my own thinking, from my own fallback pattern, which is people pleasing. So when I put these boundaries in place, they're to allow me to know how to manoeuvre behind them, to know when is the right time to be of service and when is the right time to say, I can't, I'm sorry. And that stops me getting angry, feeling misunderstood, feeling like a fool at times because it seems like everybody's taking from me and nobody's giving. It also allows me to start working on the guilt that I have, because we suffer a lot of guilt around saying no. Not necessarily because the other person is going to make us feel guilty, but because we've created a story in our heads. So that story is running round and round and round in our heads. There's nothing we can do about it until we make a decision to stop that story, to take a step outside and ask ourselves, is it true? I don't know about you, but if I've got to go into a conversation, have a discussion about something that I'm a little bit uneasy with, because I don't like confrontation. I don't like we would all love if the world operated the way we wanted it to, if we could control everything and everybody and everyone was always pleasant and nobody ever stepped on our toes or overstepped the mark. But it doesn't happen like that. But I do feel uncomfortable when I've got to go into confrontation. However, I know that when I start listening to the story in my head, rather than listening to, rather than putting aside all expectations, then things are going to go wrong. I can almost bring into reality what's going on in my head. So if I'm thinking, when I say this, she will answer like that, or when I say this, she's going to be really angry, I'm already taking that in. So the energy that I take into this conversation is one of, I'm in the wrong. Can you tell? Because I'm nervous and I'm uptight and a little bit jittery, and therefore you have every right to be angry at me. This person may or may not be angry. But if you're being truthful to yourself, if you're saying, no, I'm not prepared to do it now, I may think about it next week or tomorrow or in an hour's time, but now not, because it's not good for me. I'm busy, I'm tired, I've got my own things to do, my cup is only half full today, whatever. And you go in with that attitude and that tone, it leaves very little room for the person on the other side to bat against you. So instead of going in, I'm really sorry, and then you're giving the other person fuel for their fire if they want it. And let's be honest, one of the big things about being a people pleaser is we attract two types of people, all of us. But as people pleasers, we're more likely to attract those who don't want to give us anyway. They don't want to give of themselves. They don't want that equal, balanced relationship. They want to take and take and take and drain us until there is nothing left of us. That is the big downfall of being a people pleaser. That's who we attract. We can, and to be perfectly honest, most of the people that I had attracted into my circle were people that desperately wanted to help, that were desperately frustrated at work because they couldn't make me open up enough to push myself up the career ladder. In my relationships, they desperately wanted to give me their time, their love, their help, and I couldn't accept it. So I kept pushing back, and it left them disconnected with me and very, very frustrated. It was damned frustrating to be married to the former version of me who didn't have a strong opinion on anything. What do you want to do? I don't mind. I thought I was being nice. I thought I was being easygoing. I was being damned annoying. Because actually I always did know what I wanted to do. I always did have an opinion somewhere at the back of my mind. But it gave me a get out. I didn't have to think about it, and therefore if it was something that I was against the grain, I didn't have to own it either. I didn't have to say, actually I don't want to do X, Y or Z today. I'd much rather sit on the sofa with a book. I don't want to be in your company today. I'd much rather spend some time with myself. I gave myself a get out by being, do you like this? By being easygoing. But it's damn frustrating to be on the other side of it. And I say that as somebody who has been on the other side, because what do? We attract like people. So, in my circle at one time, we were all pleasing each other and we never got anything done. And I'm sure nobody ever actually went out and enjoyed what they were doing because no one dared say, this is not what I want. So this week is about you getting clear. What is, write down and you look at the PDF, you'll see the PDF. What do you class as people pleasing? What are you doing? What is your mechanism? I give you a little bit of a story around mine. Mine could be much deeper than that. When I was working in the corporate world, I was pregnant, running a department single-handedly because they'd gotten rid of other people. I was working 14 hours a day and I nearly lost my baby. Because I couldn't say no. This is too much, you're pushing me too far. My husband was livid watching me, going out to work at 6 o'clock in the morning and coming home exhausted, but I couldn't do anything about it. There's a job to be done, someone has to do it. And of course, on the other side of being a people pleaser is we do get something out of it. That's our validation. But it's not a good enough validation to keep going. The validation comes from within. The validation is when you're being true to yourself. So this week number 1, is about identifying why you signed up for this. What is this people pleasing causing you? What does it make you? What's it doing in your interaction with other people? How is it affecting your relationship? How does it make you feel about yourself? What's your worldview? And are you prepared to change it? Are you prepared to take that step and change it? So how it's going to work, every week you're going to get a new video like this with me telling you all about what you need to do for this week, hopefully making it clear, hopefully giving you a nice framework to work in. And then you will have access to a PDF with some questions. And it's very simple. It's not meant to overcomplicate anything. It's very simple. It's going to just help you identify what people pleasing means to you, what it's costing you, and how we're going to change it. That's this week at least. Each week we're going to move it closer and closer and closer to setting your boundaries, which please don't panic about. We all have boundaries. You may say, I don't have any. There is a limit. We all have our limits. Most of the time they're just too far away from us to actually work healthily in everyday life. But we all have our limits. We all have our boundaries. And it's a case of finding where yours is, identifying where it is, and starting to move it closer to you so that it actually becomes a functioning part of your everyday life. So by the time you've identified this, you'll be ready next week to then go on to part number 2. And I'm just going to read out what part number 2 is. Apologies. Week number 2 is really getting clear on your behaviour. We'll look at that, what is your behaviour? We'll break it down a lot more. But this week, really, let's concentrate on what it's costing you, what the inability to say no or to put yourself first is costing you. Be really, really clear about it. I had one woman who told me she didn't have any problems with people pleasing. That wasn't her thing. And I said, but why do you never like my posts on social media? I don't want other people to know that I'm in the place that I'm in. Well, that's people pleasing. I'm thinking, other people's opinion of me is stopping me living the life that I want to live. It's that simple. Where is that happening for you? So, let's get to work. See you next week, and good luck with it. If you have any questions during the course of this, you can contact me. There's the email address on the bottom of the PDF.